Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Matt, the Lumberjack Landlord. Super excited to be with you here on 9 p.m. on a Thursday night Eastern time. For those of you guys joining us from the amazing community of Christians, amazing community of amazing investors. Super excited to have you guys here with me. It was a real blast to teach the class last week. So I'm excited to be here and hopefully, look forward to you guys joining from the multifamily strategy crowd. But for those of you who don't know who I am the Lumberjack Landlord. It is a rental apocalypse update. I don't know any other way to do it. I just share with you exactly what I'm going through, wear my heart on my sleeve. Some people like to be all guarded. What's fun with that? Let's just share it all. So, kind of a crazy week. It's been a crazy 2 weeks. So we are now 2.5 weeks into Operation Rent 'em Up. It's gone pretty well. As you guys know, we actually had just watching the deterioration of the rental market, Again, it's a little bit loaded for us because, we really rent out during the summertime. And so a majority of our rentals happen May, June, July, August, September. But I'd say most of them happen June, July, and August. And so, we had a number of transitions kind of we had some in May and we had, maybe 6 or 7 or so in June. So the numbers have been larger than they normally have been. And so what was really interesting, was just kind of as we watched it continue to flow. Oh, dear God, this guy is just brutal. I have this one vendor that we hired. And honestly, I'm going to tell him, if you send me, the bill is due on Fridays and he bills us weekly. He's the only company in the world that bills us weekly, but he doesn't just bill me weekly anymore. Now it's not coming on Fridays. Now it's coming on Thursday mornings. I'm going to tell him, stop sending me fucking early invoices because it's a real pain in the ass and I don't want to see it. You get paid when all of the week's work is done. We're not going to start billing on Thursdays and then in 2 months we're going to start billing on Wednesdays. No. You get paid on Fridays, jackass, when the work is done. Enough said. Let's get back to this awful unit situation. So, as I shared with you guys 2 Sundays ago, we had ticked up from, 2 to 4 units. And in the summertime, we kind of expect that. And then we went from 6 to then 8. And I'm like, okay, 8's a problem. We need to work on this. We need to figure out we need to figure out what's going on here. Then it hits. And then it literally very quickly, it goes 10, 12, 14, 15. Ooh, like 15. We got to 15 like in days. It was maybe 3 or 4 days. We went from 10 to 15. Really bad. That's 10% of the portfolio. So I'm sitting there going, hey, what's going on? There definitely is an issue here. So then I'm like, all right, I'm coming out of retirement and, I am doing, my very best Michael Jordan. I got the number 45 number on because I'm not the champion that I was with the 23. So I got my 45 jersey on and I'm doing my thing. And, we're finding some nuances to it. We're seeing like some boyfriends and girlfriends broke up and we're seeing, that we're a couples, some people moved out of town. We see a couple bought houses. And so we're we're just trying to read the market. Like, where are these people going to? Are they going to other places? We find out that we lose, yeah, exactly. Rogue vendor's a problem, bro. Like, you can't keep on like sending me the bill earlier and earlier. He hasn't put it together. I pay it later and later, the earlier and earlier he sends it. And I've told him, I was like, stop sending me invoices on Thursdays. The invoice should not come until the work is done on Friday. End of day Friday, you can send the invoice and it will get paid Saturday, Friday night or Saturday. Don't stop sending me stuff early. So yeah, it's a problem. So anyway, kind of as we're going through the process, I'm looking at all these different things and I'm like, okay, there's nothing systemic here. Then I have a friend of mine who's actually a property manager. What's going on, Lauren? She's awesome. She's an absolute rock star of a PM. And, then I find out she was the one throwing the wrench in my market. I guess I should probably say our market, but, she was the one essentially throwing wrench in our market. Can you tell I just held my daughter? And she put some food in my beard. Lovely. child. And so in looking at it, I just said, okay, all right. They were offering 2 free months and like a $500 move-in special. And I'm like, dear God, that's ridiculous. You're killing me, bro. You're killing me, bro. But we're getting into it, right? So we're kind of going through it. And so I say, all right, here's what we do. We look at what all the ads are. I see that traffic is down on everything. I'm like, all right, some of these units have been available for 3 and 4 weeks, 5 weeks. We need to do a reboot. We need to do a refresh. So I pay the agent to go out there, take a bunch of new pictures. Okay, cool. Check pictures. They're going to come up different pictures on the web. They're going to see that they were submitted. We're to drop the old ads. And yes, counterintuitive, we shut all the ads off. We literally took every single one of them and we basically deleted the ad, every single one. And I said, I'm starting from a position of strength. We're starting over. We're starting from scratch. That's what we did. We started from scratch. We took all the new pictures. I rewrote new copy, which is the ad. I rewrote new copy ad for every single one of them. Guys, this is the playbook. Pencils ready, kids. This is the playbook. So I go through that process. I take care of all of that, right? All new pictures, all new writings. Everything is ready. Then I want to see organically what we're doing when we post all of those. So we don't want to flood the market all at once. So we post the, a variety, but we post 5 units in that first day, but a variety. They weren't all 2 bedrooms. They were a studio, a 1 bed, a 2 bed, a 3 bed, and a 4 bed. And then a couple days later, we add a 2 bed and a 3 bed. And then a couple days later, right? So we're staggering these things out there because we don't want it to seem like there's all of these units all of a sudden available in the market. We don't want to do that. But we start rolling through. We start doing showings. Now we're starting to see a lot of flow. We're seeing high activity on the ads. We're seeing high click-through on the ads, meaning that they're not just viewing it, that they're actually viewing it and actually asking questions, or they're requesting a showing or whatever. So we loaded up for a couple of weeks. We're seeing a ton of activity. And we went from, in 10 days, we went from 15 units down to 5. Monster move. That's a monster move. If anybody can do that in any market, you're a beast. Those are killer numbers. So we get down to 5. I'm like, all right, cool. Now we got 5. Let's look at this. So we got 5. We're doing the math. And I'm like, all right, let's see what we can do for these. So again, we're still getting dribs and drabs. For the first time ever, I advertised a unit. I actually paid to promote units. I made some more phone calls. Guys, this is part of the magic. I'm making phone calls. I'm calling people. I'm calling other PMs, property managers, and I'm saying, hey, I don't rent to the same person that you rent to. If I get any of these people with 800 credit scores, I'm sending them your way, because I hate people with 800 credit scores. I've got an 800 credit score. Do I hate myself? Some days I do. So we actually get the thing loaded up. We're going through the process. We take that 5. We got 5. We take it down to 2. That's pretty awesome. Not going to lie, that's pretty awesome. In this process, we bump up to 17 because we finally have a couple commercial units. One we just closed on yesterday. Rock on. Thank you, Jay from Keller Williams. So we're super excited that deal happens. And now we're basically looking at both of those units being available for market. We met with the potential renter tonight and we got a deal done. Super psyched. 10-year deal. Really pumped to have them. I'll disclose next week. But super pumped to have them. They're great business people. It's a great organization. So I'm just super pumped to have those guys. But now we get a 10-year deal. We got a 5 with an option for 5. And so we've got a little bit of a project work there to do. So that's good. But the net of where we are on the rental market, still hyper local. Quality still is renting. If you're just a clean and safe unit, you're probably sitting. Yeah. That's why we talk about in the course doing a lumberjack package, right? You do certain things in the lumberjack package and you're putting yourself in a pretty darn good position to be the best of that class of product. And that's where you want to be, because that's why our stuff rents fast, right? They're like, yeah, we always ask, hey, how many other things did you look at? Yeah, I looked at 3 or 4. Okay. Yeah, I looked at 13. It's a big number. Been looking for months. Why? Let's see your application. But as we went through it, we're there. We're down to officially, we are down to 2 units. 2. It's not even been 3 weeks. This Sunday is 3 weeks. So my hope is that in the next 3 days that we can rent out those 2 units. Because then we go from 17 to 0 in 3 weeks. Yeah. I'm going to have to go get a number 23 jersey, because those are Jordan-like numbers. Or I can wear my Brady jersey, because those are Brady-like numbers. So what I would encourage you to listen to is on the Rental Apocalypse update. It really feels like that, right? I get that you guys will likely never have 15 vacant units. Most of you won't, but you will have that percentage of your portfolio where you have, 1 out of 4, 1 out of 6, or 1 out of 8, and then you go 2 out of 8. Maybe you go 3 out of 8. That's scary. I get it. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to take down the ad. Give it a few days. Rewrite the copy. Take better pictures. Start making phone calls. Start calling Section 8. Start calling other people that offer vouchers. Put something out to your tenants. There's a bunch of different things that you can do. To get that ball rolling. And motion creates emotion. So I'm always up walking around. I think I've worn through a whole layer or 2 of skin on my feet. Walking around. So motion creates emotion, but then go out and win, guys. Win. Go out and get it. This is what I'm telling you. Go out and get it. I didn't wait for the phone to ring. I didn't wait for the things that we were doing. Change, move, pivot, move. This is what you have to do. When the market is showing and giving you indications that something is changing, you need to be looking at it, trying to understand it, and then making moves to counteract it. You have to do that. Now, does it mean that I'm an absolute rock star for going from 17 down to 2? Yeah, sure. You could garner that, and you should probably be in my course if you think that that's a big power move. I think that you should. However, I recognize that it's far more important to the person that has 1 that goes to 2 and only has 6 units. At that point, you're probably pretty close to having to write a check every month. So don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to rewrite ads. Don't be afraid to redo the pictures. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and start calling state programs that are looking for housing. Insurance companies. You should be already doing this, talking to insurance companies. Hospital HR departments that might have traveling nurses. Leave no stone unturned. This is the work that must be done. So hopefully that's helpful to you guys. Let's jump into the questions. But the good news is it's not a rental apocalypse. We are down to 2 units. I don't see us having a bunch of units coming. I've talked to a number of tenants. We did 3 lease extensions this month alone. So I'm really psyched about that. The renewal rate. So did I say this month or this week? This week alone, we did 3 extensions. This month, we've probably done 6 or 7. And we have some more coming in September, but yeah, like overall, we're feeling pretty good about it. But the cool thing is we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 13 units that are going to be hitting the market. Here's the cool thing. I've been paying the bill for those 13 units for a year. I've not gotten any of the income, no revenue. But now that they're going to market, revenue, it's 13 more units with an average price of $2,000. It's $26,000 a month, more of income that I don't have today. That's a pretty awesome thing. That'll put a sunshine on your face. Let's jump in. Wayne Wong, good to see you as always, sir. Jason Calasabetta, always good to see you. Hambone, greatest Spokane area. Good to see you, sir. The Spokane Chiefs. Spokane Chiefs, minor league hockey club there. Spokane Chiefs. Buzz Toon, Mikey, good to see you. Mark, good evening, sir. Good to have you. Matt, can you tell me how to eliminate the strong smell of cigarettes from the apartment? Yeah, so you can use an ozone machine. Look them up online. You can rent them. Ozone machines are fantastic. The other thing that you can do first is actually take hydrogen peroxide, and I believe it's baking soda, if I'm not mistaken. You look up an online formula. You can actually get that in a bucket and then just wipe down the walls, and the nicotine will just come off. It will stain. It just comes off, but that's what you need to do. So that's what you do to get rid of the nicotine. Also, and then after you've wiped all the walls and gotten them from a dark, gross yellow to at least a slightly tinged white, using the ozone machine, but also then painting it with something that seals in any of the smell. So like a Kills, a Zins, a Bins, a Zinsser, a Bins primer that will actually seal it in, and that should be the recipe of success for you. If you have carpet, you're gonna have to rip it out because there's really no way to rescue the carpet. Ozone machine sometimes works, but often doesn't. But usually the ozone machine does a lot of the trick. They're expensive. We bought one, and now we just use it because it's the best way to manage it. HOA Prez, a 3K a month studio in Silicon Valley might be down to $2,500 a month by the end of the year. Of course, your market may be different. Yeah, so our studios, obviously Silicon Valley, one of the most expensive places to live. Our studios are up. Our studios are actually up. Our studios are up. Our 1 bedrooms are up. Our 2 bedrooms are flat. Our 3 bedrooms are flat. Our 4 bedrooms are up. Just the market. I don't know. Can't figure out necessarily that, but the 1s and 2s, the issue is that everybody that's built everything, it's been 2s, maybe sometimes 1s, but studios and 1s rarely come back on, and rarely do they come on affordable. Our market right now for studios is obnoxious. And 1 bedrooms. 1 bedroom from Section 8, $1,812 is what that rents for. $1,812. That's a high number. 1812, 1 bedroom, Section 8. That's nuts. And if I had 17 of them right now, they could all be full. Yep. Hyder, good to see you, sir. HOA Prez, the quality of applicants has dropped significantly. Oh yeah, HOA Prez, that's going through the floor, bro. Because like you said, you perfectly articulated it. 1 in 20 people that is getting a $400,000 offer for being an AI developer. And meanwhile, out of the other 19 people, probably 4 or 5 of them are laid off. Another 3 might be laid off. And then the other ones are staying put. They're not doing anything. So yeah, I've seen it. Smoke that. I like button like Cheech and Chong. Thank you, sir. Always happy to do that. Thank you, Hyder. Porky, Lumberjack went rogue on the vendor. Yeah, I'm so tired of that shit. Everybody wants to send me the invoice before the job is done. When you send me an invoice before the job is done, that's one of my pet peeves. Finish the work, then you can invoice me. Finish the work, and then you can invoice me. I prove to everybody that I pay quickly. I pay faster than anybody does. I just do. I pay faster than anybody. My tile guy literally sent me a text today at 4:15. By 4:30, he was paid. There's not guys out there that pay 15-minute net terms. Larry Bird, how's it going? Good to see you, pal. Chris Culp, miss our boot camps. Hey, good to see you signed up for the next one. You will hear an announcement just after Labor Day. I'm just planning out the weekends, trying to time everything around Thanksgiving and stuff because I know when we're going to finish. And I got a couple travel weekends in there. Like traveling out to Vegas. Maybe we would do the boot camp still in Vegas, but probably not. Just because I get to spend so little time with Dion and Mike that usually when we get together, I like to just spend the time with them. HOA Prez, we had a couple vacancies due to ICE raids. Yep. I would expect that. I would expect you're going to probably see that more. HOA Prez. How many units are you managing right now, HOA Prez? All-Nighter Hider, Verizon does not like me being here. All I'm getting is buffering. I'm a lot to take in the pipe, my friend. A lot to take. Chris Culp, leased my last apartment today after 2 months of applicant hell, back to full occupancy until next year. Congratulations, Chris Culp. That's excellent news. So it's just as I told you guys a month and a half or so ago, where I said you're going to see a lower quality of tenant. I was right. You're going to see actually, I said this beginning of the summer, lower quality of tenant, longer lease time. You're going to have units vacant for longer. And you're going to, again, just the quality is just going to be largely shitty. Yep. It's going to be pretty bad. And that's what it's been. HOA Prez, Berkeley, MIT, Stanford, CS grads are having trouble finding jobs. They still find jobs, but it's a lot of work. No pun intended to get one. Yeah, for sure it is. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, but then again, and here we go. I got 38 people watching right now. Watch this. I mean, it's really tough when you get a PhD or a master's in women's studies. That job isn't really out there. It went up. How did it go up to 40? I just offended one person. They left. But am I right? Robert Farinelli, good to see you, sir. How is the Manchester market? I'm seeing a lot of stuff. I'm seeing a lot of buildings hitting the market there, and I'm not seeing any 3 units that are going for $1 million. HOA price. We had 948 apartment building that sold today for 371 million. Okay. The complex is 65 years old and hasn't been kept up for decades. Amazing. Can't figure it out. Here's what I would guess. I would guess that there is a, let's see. 9. Nope. Sorry. 371. 371 million. Divided by 948. So you're about $400,000 a condo. I mean, that's light for the Bay Area, right? That's light for the Bay Area. And so, I mean, if the average is a 3.2, right? If the average condo is a 3.2 or a 3.1, like, I mean, you're probably, I mean, your rent's going to be higher than that. I mean, it sounds like it's honestly HOA price. It sounds like a value play. That's what it sounds like to me. HOA price, finding warm bodies to fill apartments isn't the problem. Finding quality tenants is a problem. Absolutely. It always is in a down market, is finding quality tenants. Kyle Dorn, good to see you. Just heard you close on a property. Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah, I closed on one today. I closed on another one on, what day is today? Thursday. I closed on another one on Tuesday. And then I closed another one last Tuesday. So I did 3 deals this month. Another 1031 in the books. I just have to check my bank account tomorrow and see how much money is left after all those deals, because I honestly don't know. I have to check online. Let's see. Kyle Dorn just got 1 of 2 leased. 1 more to go. Love that. Be making those calls, talking to housing, talking to Section 8. Looking at the employers that are growing, the small mom and pop shops, give them a call. Hey, I've got units available. Have a link that you can send them to show them the properties. I've gotten a lot of deals done this month just doing that. They're like, oh yeah, you got a 3-bedroom? Yep, here it is. What's your email? Oh no, here, I got your mobile. Let me just text it to you. I say, can you just open that now? They open up, they're like, holy cow, that thing is beautiful. They're not wrong. Place is beautiful. It's true. It's true. In fact, can I do that? I might be able to do that. No, we're not going to do that. I might do it next week. HOA price. Next year could be a grim year for Silicon Valley vacancies. The newbie investors that bought in the last year could have a rough time. They're going to get crushed, HOA price. And it's like I told you, like I've been saying all year long, I know that we disagree on some things. We agree on a lot. But I told you, I think Silicon Valley is in for a massive market shakeup like it's never seen before. I just do. Because there's so much wealth in that area that depends on those people that are wealthy to then pay what they pay for maids and cleaners and all of the stuff, all of the accoutrement of life. I'm telling you, a lot of those jobs are going to be lost. A lot of jobs are going to be lost. Kyle Dorn. Yeah, I unlisted one of mine for 3 days and relisted, rented 2 days later, 1 hour ago. I'm saying this is the way you do it, guys. Sometimes you just got to take it out of that market, let it out for a few days, make some tweaks to the ad so it feels different, and then you put it back in. The other thing that you can do too with, Facebook and things like that is if you had 21 or 22 pictures before, scale it back, go with 10 pictures. If you had 10 pictures before, scale it up, go with 20. Give the systems something different than what you gave them before. They'll feel like it's different. And so then they'll promote it again. That's the way to do it. Just saying. All Dayer Slayer. I like it. The all nighter hider. I guess could be you're the yin and the yang. HOA price. In this market, the tenant won't come to you. You have to go out and look for your tenant. Absolutely. Do you know the other thing I did too? I forgot to tell you guys this. I went out to Facebook. I went out where there were people posting saying, hey, looking for a place. And then they would show their picture. And I would always, I sent stuff out to people. I got a couple. Got them to show up, got them to do the walkthrough. I think one of them rented from us. I know the other one didn't, but one of them did. Guys, I was an absolute machine. I was an absolute beast the last 2 weeks getting units rented. I was an absolute machine. Wellwood Rentals. Hi, Matt. Would you lease to someone with a drug possession felony conviction that happened 12 years ago? My lease says no armed or violent crimes, so this isn't one of that. Yeah, I would lease to that person. Yeah, sure. Yep. If they have the decent credit, if they have the, if they can show me that they paid their landlord the last 3 months, yep, I would. Kyle Dorn. Yes, I rewrote my description with new pictures. Yes, that's right. Always do the lumberjack description, but I liked my last one better and it rented. Love it. Yep. Yeah. I mean, you can tweak that all the time, but again, sometimes you want to, you might have 10 reasons and then I scale it back to 5, or then I take away the bullet points for an ad. I mean, yes, have variation to it because you want Facebook, you want Zillow to feel like it's a different ad. Charles McCoon, relisting works for items for sale as well. I've sold airplanes this way. Yep, absolutely. What you want to do is you want to try and redo it so it actually feels different. It's always a good process. Frank's YouTube is better than I expected. I don't know who Frank is. Grumpy Contractor, good to see you, sir. Oops. Let me just get, oh, son of a biscuit. Crap. I guess that's okay. 120. Yeah. Oh well. Wealth of Rentals. Would you lease to 5 people? 4 are 18 years old with no credit history, and 1 is 27 and has good credit. All are working. That's a tough one. No credit history is better than bad credit history. The one that has good credit, yeah. I mean, if it's a single family house, yes. If it's a duplex, I might have to think about it. Charles McHugh. Frank's YouTube is better than I expected. I don't know who Frank's is. Charles McCune. All Dayer Slayer. I can only assume you are someone who expanded from a one-man band to a full team to handle your portfolio. My question is, how do you find reliable people, or do you have to train unreliable people to help you? So that's a great question, All Dayer Slayer. I am, yes, I grew from a one-man team, but still I only have 1 employee and we do everything with contractors. So we have contractors that we trust, but we also recognize that they're not employees, so they don't work for us directly. So we have 3. We have 3 electrical contractors, 3 plumbing contractors, 3 HVAC contractors. We have our primary. If you say yes to us, then you get the shot at the next one. So we had a plumber that was, oh no, sorry, I'm 3 weeks out. No problem. So we went to the next plumber that used to be our primary. We went to him and he's like, yep, I'll do it for you this week. Cool. Awesome. So he got the job. And so the next job, he gets called first. So yeah, I don't think you can train unreliable people to be reliable. But you just kind of feel it out. You see how they are. And then when you're pulling from enough people, you can create the perception of reliability at that point. So yeah, as far as hiring people, still a big challenge. People, oh, I could make more money doing this. You probably could. You just wouldn't have work every day. So yeah, I think it kind of changes. Charles McCune. Thanks, Ryan. Yep. Old guy area. Oh, there you go. There you go. Frank is great. Frank is awesome. He's a contractor. Yeah, he's a contractor. He owns multiple properties. He's a good guy. Yeah, Frank's great. Sorry, I didn't see the comment above where that's that's the Frank you were referring to. But yeah, he's fantastic. HOA Press, a lot are running out of their 3 to 6 month severance package, are feeling the pain. HOA Press is going to get worse. This winter is going to suck. New part of the year, it's going to suck. It's going to suck big time. Jeremy, thanks for the live. Jeremy, always my pleasure. Cameron Samini. Hello, Matt. Hello, Cameron. Robert Finley, we up to 701 units in Manchester. We are at 720 2 weeks ago. Went down to 660 last week. This doesn't look good. It's going to get way worse. Guys, for those of you in the Northeast or cold environments, we are cold climates. We are, if you do not have these units rented in September, you are befuddled. You are in trouble because stuff does not rent in November. It does not rent in December. Stuff does not rent then. It doesn't. We have a deadline because we have a 156 unit brand new build that's going to be live in like 90 days. We got to be in market, on market. We got to be getting this stuff done like now. We got to get it done. We got to get these units rented for October 1. You know, we're not going to get them rented for September 1, but we got to get them rented for October 1. Because if we can get them rented for October 1, and I think we can, I think in the next like week or so, we're going to have enough work done where we have a model unit where we can take people through it. It's going to be critical. Absolutely critical. Yeah. HOA, I paid vendors at the moment. The job was done and always can find good vendors. I never understood why people wait months to pay people. Yeah, so I don't wait months to pay people. We always pay right away. But don't get ridiculous and start sending me invoices early before the work is even done. That's not how it works. Kyle Dorn, well, crap. I forgot I'm trying to rent out my friend's studio too. Okay, 2 more to go. That's all right. His here in Montana, though, and junk applicants here too, not just in Iowa. No, junk applicants are everywhere. That's why they're always looking for a place to live. HOA Press, $400K for an apartment. They aren't condos, but apartments. They each need about $50K of rehab. Dude, HOA Press, what are you doing in a unit for $50K? What are you doing in a unit for $50K? If it's 750 square feet, it's not $50K. You got to take the lumberjack course, HOA Press. I gotta. It can be done for much less money. Chris Culp, if you will indulge me for a moment as a proud papa, my daughter got her white coat in her veterinarian degree this past weekend. Congratulations. We absolutely will. You can now take a screenshot, Chris. Chris Culp's daughter, because he wasn't nice enough to share your name. Congratulations. That's a big thing. Yep, absolutely. Congratulations. You put in the extra work. You put in the extra time. You actually have a career in demand. Congratulations to you. Your dad is very proud of you. And so is the lumberjack, for what that's worth. Maybe next time your dad will be nice enough to share your name, so I don't have to just say Mr. Culp's daughter. Robert Farinelli. And yeah, it isn't summer 2024 when 3 units in Manchester would sell every 2 weeks. Yeah. And the one that sold for $50K above the next one up to $850. Yep. Yeah, like I said, we hit that wall, and then I said it's going to trickle down from there, and that's exactly what it's doing. Now there's people, and the crazy thing is, there's some people out there still buying. I think now you're starting to catch a falling knife. It's maybe not with that level of velocity, but maybe a sliding knife. I've seen some stuff on our market. I've seen it sit. I know it's got some room to go down, but now I'm seeing duplexes in the 5s, and they were in the 6s. So they're absolutely coming down. They're coming down, like I said, I thought that they would come down by the end of last year. I thought we would be between, about 10% up to 20%. I think that's going to shift. I think we're probably seeing that this year because the numbers are effectively down. They're still technically up though. So it's not the fall into the crash bros idea, which is, are they 10% off the highs? No. That's not true. They are 10% off the highs, but they're not 10% off the solds. They're 10% off the listed. So it's wish pricing, but they are definitely absolutely 100%. These units are down. Yes, sir. Sarah Vannon, good to see you, sir. Congratulations on closing 3 new deals. Thank you very much, Sarah Vannon. Sarah Vannon is new to the course. Super excited to have you in the fold. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Basilio, good to see you, my friend. Basilio, I bumped into, I think I was stalking him in Vegas. I bumped into him at least twice, if not 3 times, outside of the event in Vegas. We have the same tastes. Good food. Yes. HOA Prez. At my peak, I managed about 100 rentals as a property management. Be aware that I didn't own the 100 units, but wished I did. HOA Prez, I get it. But you're in one of those markets where you don't have to own 100 to be wealthy. You just are. So, and this isn't, again, please note, this is not to poo-poo on anybody. That's not what this is about. But that's what the problem with door count is. That's the problem with door count. I talked to somebody this week. They're in the Oklahoma market. They're buying houses for $56,000. So I would ask you, does the $56,000 deal compare to the deals that I'm doing? No, it does not. Because while he's buying at 56, I just bought at 419. There you go. I bought at 419. He bought at 56. Now he can put $60,000 into the property. It's probably worth 175 grand. That's awesome. But he's never going to get the rents anywhere near what I'm getting, right? Obviously. So my rents are, it's a 4-bedroom and a 2-bedroom, and the 4 is going to rent for about 26 or 27 in that particular building. And the 2 will be about 1,800. So that building will drive $4,500 a month. But yeah, we'll see. But this is why door count, guys, doesn't really matter. Door count doesn't matter. The thing that really matters is profit. Cash flow is what matters, guys. Cash flow. HOA Prez, keep in contact with local businesses as sometimes they need rentals for new employees. Absolutely. The idea is you want to find some stuff that's bigger. One of the tricks that I teach you guys in the course is H-1B visas. H-1B visas, it's the responsibility of the employer to provide nice, clean, safe housing, or clean and safe housing. So be in alignment with people that hire H-1Bs. Look at their websites. Who are the top? Okay, here's some gold. You're welcome. Who are the top hiring companies in my area for H-1B visas? If you don't know what that is, call your state. Ask them, hi, who do I find a list of employers for that hire H-1B visa participants? H-1B is about as straightforward as it gets, because them, the employer, they know the area, they have to provide housing, and then they basically just detract it from your wages. We have 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 units that we have that are H-1B visa. It's a brilliant strategy, if I do say so myself. HOA Prez, if I had the resources, but I have given potential investors to look at San Francisco commercial buildings, as some properties have dropped 75% from the peak. Not for the faint of heart. Yeah, HOA Prez, you're dead on. Not for the faint of heart, because it might go lower. And more importantly is you have to drag the thing and be paying out of pocket until you get it up and fully operational, which could take months. I think you're climbing the crest of the wave. We're nowhere near rolling. Oh no, it's going to be a while. Yeah, it's not going to be good. HOA Prez, just be careful about renting to people with prior drug conviction. Just make sure that his drug problems are in the past. Yep, true. HOA Prez, no credit history provided. That applicant can back it up with a large bank account might be okay. I don't like large bank accounts with bad credit, because very often that means they have enough money to hire an attorney and don't pay people already. Think of it this way. Having a big bank account is the ability to pay. Having a big credit score is factually that you pay. Man, guys, this is fire tonight. I got to be honest. I'm just dropping bombs. Like Bradley is going to have to change the name of his web stream or live stream from dropping bombs to this. Chris Culp, I always felt like my portfolio was a little heavy on 1 bedroom, but now they seem to be like gold. They are, because people weren't building them. People were building 2s and 3s. Studios and 1 beds, they are worth their weight in gold. The pricing compression has occurred in that market because of supply and demand. Just a natural supply and demand equation. It's amazing. HOA Prez, hopefully we can find an 18-year-old person that is willing to work and show up on time. Good luck. You know what I found is that it's really about the parents. The parents, it's typically somebody that was very often it's somebody that was, disciplined. And so they played sports. They were on the chess team, whatever. It's people with discipline that did extracurriculars. Um, it's not the rule, but that's what I'm finding the people that I'm hiring. Jasic, good to see you. Robert Farinelli. We are entering September. We are entering the hard months. Are we going to start seeing average rents drop in the winter? Yes, you will see rents drop this winter. Yep. You will see, they will try their darndest to not get the rent to drop, but the rent is going to drop. And so you'll see move-in specials. I'm winking at somebody that I think is watching. But you're going to see, monthly specials, 14 months for the price of 12 months, 13 months for the price of 12 months, $500 move-ins, $99 move-ins. You're going to see all of these things. Keep in mind that we did not run any special to get those 15 units rented. Didn't run a special. Just saying. Just saying. You want to learn how to be a really good landlord and property manager? There might be a course you can take. The big HOA Prez, the big problem for landlords is the units that offer so-called free rent. Yep. Is it used to be free rent, would be either the 6 or 12 month. Now it is the first month. Correct. Yep. That makes people willing to move. And then they're like, hey, I got you. Haha. But now they're seeing they're seeing a higher eviction rate. That will absolutely happen. When they do leave, you're seeing a much higher rate of them needing to get $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 back out of the tenant for damaged stuff. And very often you're seeing turnover because they're finding the next guy that's willing to chase the dollars. Yeah, I see it. Kyle Dorn, not so if you missed the comment, I missed your response. Sorry, Carl. Give us your arsenal of quotes. People do what's inspected, not what's expected. Yeah. Yep. If you squint, it's mint. That's another one. Yep. Let's see. One of my new favorites is when somebody's like, oh no, but I'd pay you. I was like, oh, you'd pay me, just not the last guy because I'm special. They're not going to pay you. You're not special. They're going to lie to you, say whatever they need to get in. Ouch. Emily Culp, new veterinarian doctor. Emily Culp. There you go. You can screenshot it. Emily Culp, congratulations on being a new veterinary doctor. My preference is to go to veterinarians when I'm sick. They get the better drugs. It's just a joke. Congratulations to you and your daughter, Chris. Yes, Jason, I concur. HOA Prez, 50K includes about 20K in mandatory permit fees. Mandatory permit fees of 20K? Yeah, that state's effed up. I think we all knew California is crazy. I agree that 50K might be on the high side, but not by much. Yeah, that's nuts. That's nuts. When we get a unit, even a 2-bedroom unit, we can go through the entire thing. We can get to studs for 20. Replace windows, replace the tub, replace the toilet, replace the vanity, do the kitchen. Yeah. Yep. And with high quality product. Lumberjack landlord bathroom book quote, book is in demand. Yeah. Yeah. Not really. Yeah. HOA Prez, a plumber makes $60 an hour and a fresh CS graduate can't find a job. That's a new normal. Oh, dude, a plumber makes a lot more than $60 an hour where I am. I don't know about you. I don't know when the last time you hired a plumber. My plumbers start at $115. $115 is where my plumbers start, and they go as high as $150. All day or slayer. Since starting your entrepreneur journey, would you say your life is more stressful now? Yeah, absolutely. Or back when you were building your business. They're one and the same. Building your business, being entrepreneurial. Yeah, I mean, but winners want the ball, right? Winners want the ball. So, yeah, if I've got something going wrong, I'm going to grab it and I'm going to go do it. And that way, so here's an example. When somebody's like, "Oh, we can do that." I'm just like, "No, thanks, I'll do it." Like, "No, but I can do it." Yeah, I'm sure you can. But this is a critical thing. I need to make sure it's done right. So I'm going to do it. Thank you. Yeah. That's why, hey, it was no offense to my agent, but she hadn't rented a unit in, I'm going to curse. She hadn't rented a unit in 6 fucking weeks. Like, what are we waiting for? I don't have time for this. It's a bunch of bullshit. I need shit rented. I need to be making deals. We need to be at least doing showings and having conversations, right? Activity breeds activity. So we weren't seeing many leads. The leads we were seeing were sucking. The people were complete and total not qualified dog shit. So yeah, I jumped in and I started picking up the phone and making phone calls. I texted them. You texted them? I'd ignore you too. Make a phone call. That's how I used to beat the bag out of every other rep, is I wasn't leaving it up to emails. Oh, look at my flowery email. Look at your stupid email. Pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. Retainer. Pick up the phone. Make a phone call. Get good on the phone. I am elite on the phone. I'm elite in the room, but man, on the phone, it's just not even fair. I spent 20 years closing $1 million deals on the phone, never meeting people. Be trustworthy. Come across as trustworthy. Prove that you're trustworthy. People buy from people. So yeah, all day or Slayer, to answer your question, being an entrepreneur is always stressful. It's fun. You can have massive growth, but you can't be afraid of no, and you can't be afraid of failure. I failed so many freaking times, and this isn't one of those, stupid platitudes like, "Oh, I failed so often." No, I failed so many. So I don't fail very much now. I don't fail very often now at all. Nope. I'm really dialed in. I don't fail very much at all now. Nope. But I failed a lot for a lot of years, and then I watched a lot of other people fail, and I just learned from them. So now, yeah, I'm very rarely am I wrong. Maybe that's why Mike and Dion say I'm the smartest person that they know. I disagree, but yeah, we fail. Don't get me wrong, but the occurrence of failure is much, much less. We can look at things and go, "Oh, we blew it." Happens. It still happens, and I still get things wrong often enough that it annoys me. But you get much better over time. Let's see. HOA Prez. The key right now is to somehow maintain a positive cash flow, or at least don't have a negative cash flow. Yes, absolutely. How are people spending their appreciation? That is a joke. I am mocking people because I've heard for years about, I bought this for appreciation. Give me a break, dude. Unless you're selling it, who gives a rip about your appreciation? I need cash flow. Every day I've got bills to pay and I need cash flow. But maybe that's just me. Chris Cope, who would be willing to join me in build? I don't know what that is. Who would be willing to join me in building and publishing the Lumberjack Landlord Quote Book? Oh, dear God. Sweet Lord. HOA Prez, employers in Silicon Valley don't provide housing for H-1B. Yep. Despite that, Facebook, Apple, etc., are good contacts to place tenants. Yeah, I would believe that. Mark Hambone, we love our Chiefs over here. I believe that you love the Chiefs. The Chiefs are a great football team. They are a great football team. HOA Prez. I just think the only thing that ever bothers me about the Chiefs, I think Mahomes is awesome. I think that he won't catch Brady, but I think he's a more athletic quarterback, but he's not better than Brady pre-snap, not even close. And I think that anybody that says Travis Kelce is a better tight end than Rob Gronkowski doesn't know the game. I'll say that. HOA Prez, 3 generations of U.S. military, which probably gives you an idea of my work ethic. Yes, sir. Or Dad would say lack thereof. Right? Because they're always like, "Man, you're soft." You're like, "I'm harder than everybody else out there." Yeah, soft. Yeah, it's tough. I get it. Let's see. HOA price. I see one ad offering 3 months of free rent with the first 2 months free. A disaster waiting to happen. HOA, dead on. That is kicking the can down the road. That is absolutely what that is. Flavio, the sleeper in the house. Charles, good to see you. Good to see you, Flavio. Welcome, welcome. All Day or Slayer, did you single-handedly make every move to go from 17 to 2? Yep. Also, how do you handle your taxes and accounting things? I'm asking because my life is starting to get bigger than me. I need some help soon. Yeah, you want to get that help immediately. So yes. So my wife and I run our business. That's what we do. We just hired somebody that basically takes the place of my wife on the business side. And we have an accountant that we give everything to at the end of the year, but we spend probably 100 to 200 hours a year putting together our taxes that then gets handed off. It just takes that long because we have that much going. But yeah, the biggest thing is optimizing the business, because what the optimization does is it drastically reduces the amount of friction that comes from managing a portfolio or building a portfolio. So think of it this way. If I'm spending 2 hours a week on a property or on 3 properties, well, if I can cut that from, and if you're working, you're still in your normal job, if I can cut that from 2 hours to 30 minutes or to 15 minutes, well, then I have an hour and a half where I can be out there shopping for more deals and making more relationships and more connections. That's where it is. There's a limited amount of time, and how you spend and invest that time is going to be the determining factor of your success. So the idea is as you want to grow your business and as you continue to grow your business, you need to make sure that you're taking care of the customers that you're creating, right? Your tenants, because they are customers. But then you also need to make sure that you're minimizing the amount of time that you're spending on management of such things, but not paying for it, but having systems in place that allow you to manage these things in much more of a reactive basis where you can still get things taken care of, because your growth is not going to be based on how well you take care of your tenants. Your growth is going to be based on my tenants are taken care of, but instead of spending 2 hours a week on that, I'm spending an hour and a half out there creating relationships and looking for more deals. That is how you properly grow this business. That's how you properly do it. Robert Farinelli, Matt, you are spot on about those 2 bedrooms. Out of those 701 units, 364 are 2 beds. Yes, they are. On that note, are my 2 beds, 2 baths special, or are they in the same oversaturation boat? I believe 2 bed, 2 baths are special. So what you need to do is you need to search on the 200 or 364 2 beds. How many of those 364 2 beds are 2 twos? I would be willing to bet you it's probably less than 20% of them are 2 twos. Maybe even as few as 10% of them are 2 twos. Look that up, find that data, and that's then how you market that unit. Hey, ever had to fight the roommate? Like literally, title right above or first line in the ad. Hey, ever had to fight the roommate for the bathroom? Never have to think about that again. Boom, line. Yep, that should be in the book. All Time Chiner. Hi, All Time. I'm raising money to build a time machine. Okay. Please donate so I can finish. I will not. I will go back in time to make us all rich. I need $1 million to make it, please. You show me the plans and an MVP. If you know what an MVP is, show me the plans and an MVP, and we might have a conversation. All-nighter hider. That is a good problem to have all day. I'm working towards the same situation. Absolutely. Hey, Mark. Good to see you. Good sir. Financial firefighter, Mark Oshiro. Go check him out, guys. I can't keep up with the amount of content that you put out, dude. Like, good for you. Good for you. I'm just absolutely freaking crazy busy right now. I cannot wait for the summer to be over. And I don't want to feel that way next year. Linda Peck. Hi, Linda Peck. Is winter a bad time to buy rentals? I'm getting nervous with winter coming. It sounds like it's harder to find tenants in winter. I'm in Idaho. Hey, Linda, welcome to the channel. Love to have you here. It is not, it's usually harder to find tenants in the wintertime, in real wintertime, because put yourself in the tenant's position. They don't want to move. Snow, slush, cold, rain. They can't really see the outside of the house, like as far as like what the yard looks like. There's a lot of things and a lot of reasons that people just don't want to rent in the wintertime. So check the box. Okay, they don't want to rent in the wintertime. The nice thing is you have more competition in the spring and in the fall. But you usually have a lot more people willing to make that move and willing to rent at that time. So the wintertime is a great time to buy something. I buy mostly value add. I don't buy turnkey because turnkey is really hard to make money in most markets. So I like to buy value add. I like to buy properties in A, B, and C areas, no D's. And I like to buy them in B- to C condition so I can update them, put my own stamp of approval on it, and then actually drive a higher rent after it's done. HOA Prez, you want to make that call? You need to make that call for a few good landlords. Well done, HOA Prez. It's exactly. You got to make that call. Got to make those calls, guys. It can't be texts. It can't be, oh, you sent off an email. Guys, engage. Be different. Other people are not calling. I am calling. Every time I am calling. HOA Press. My dad always told me the only easy day was yesterday, which was never easy. Yeah, it's not wrong, right? It only feels easy because it's done. Kyle Dorn, love the following Mark Twain quote. I've lived through some terrible tragedies in my life, only some which actually happened. I know, right? All-nighter hider, I'm punctual and fairly comprehensive, but even more so now that I'm in negotiations with my old construction boss for his San Diego REI portfolio. Ties in with make the calls. It's exactly right. People, state your intentions. Tell people what you're doing. Tell people what you're looking for. I'm going to talk to you guys about a new brand that I'm putting out there next month. What did it cost me? It cost me a few $1,000s to put the brand together, but I wanted to have a brand so people could get behind and understand this is what Matt's trying to do and accomplish. That's what I want people to see. So I'll talk to you guys about that next week. Mark Campone, I've replaced about half of the pics on my ad with higher quality pics with better angles. Mark, that's a great idea. What you want to do though is I've taken the entire ad down. I've gone blank and basically wiped it from the internet, if you will, for 3 days, 4 days. And then I'll go in with only new pics and only a new description. That way the algorithm behind the scenes doesn't think that this is just a reposting of an old ad. I want new. I want it picking up new information, new data saying, this is new. I need to promote this. That's how it's done, gentlemen and ladies. Josic, you're looking great, sir. Yes, Josic, you are looking great. Mark Campbell, I meant Spokane Chiefs, trying not to be offended. Nice. That's right. Josh Burdick is in Spokane as well. HOA Prez, we kick the can down the road until we kick the bucket. Yeah, it's true. I think that's what will be the problem in this market. So, we're absolutely watching market rents. We on one unit type, we took less this year than we took last year on one unit type. A lot of them are flat, but a majority of them are still up because we had legacy tenants that moved out and we can capture new markets. We can capture new market pricing. HOA Prez, the beauty of Excel is that you can do sensitivity analysis on your investment. Maybe you can extend the loan term, get a better interest rate. Excel can do calculations in seconds. Yes, absolutely. All-nighter hider, personal bathrooms is fewer words in an ad. That's true. Yep. But what you want to do is personal bathrooms, does that get somebody to read the next line? Because everything in marketing is not getting them to read the whole ad. It's getting them to read the next line. That's where people very often make a mistake with stuff. People will glance and what are the things that pop into their eyes? Don't know. So when it's like, when I see the word fight, I'm far more apt to look at what's said apt than personal, right? Bathrooms, again, it's like, okay, I'm probably going to glance through that word, but fight, I'm going to catch that word. right? So everything that we do, everything that I do from a marketing perspective, the mistake that many people make is trying to earn the sale. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to get you one more step committed. Guys, there are people that have made millions and millions of dollars off that one line. I'm trying to just get you step committed. I need you to take that next step. That's it. Just the next step, the next step, and the next step. And then closing doesn't become the destination. It becomes the journey. Damn it, you guys are going to have to put that book out after all. Linda Peck, thank you. You're welcome, Linda. Pleasure. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Thanks for being brave enough to ask a question. A lot of people don't ask questions, so I'm excited that you did. HOA Press, CA passed a law that limits to security departments to 1 month's rent. Security department deposits. Yeah. Yep. So in our state, we're the same. You pay first month's rent and deposit. That's it. And the first month and the deposit cannot exceed first month's rent. Craig Cameron, good to see you, pal. Hope you're doing awesome in Minnesota. And oh my goodness, we're coming into winter, brother. We're coming into winter. Hey, Lars, good to see you, pal. Hope your vacation went great. Saw it on Facebook, I think a little bit. Yep. Pretty sure. Private bathrooms is even better, in my opinion. Matt, you sharing your session is so helpful. Thank you. Oh man, I'm happy to share with you guys anything. You guys can ask any question, I'll tell you. The only thing I won't tell you is net worth and how much money I made this month. Which, by the way, I did not make that much money this month because my credit card bill was $88,000. And that made me gasp. Literally. Yeah, read the next line. That's all you're trying to do is get them to read the next line. Think about when you're reading through something, right? You talk about a book pulling you in, right? Well, that's what that is. That's the story. That's a narrative. That's the story being told. People want to be pulled in. So yeah, I made millions and millions of dollars in my career. And the thing that everybody makes the mistake with when they're selling is telling ain't selling. And we used to say telling ain't selling. So it's about asking questions. You know, I'm not going to sit there and pitch to you guys my course every single week because I don't want to do that. Are you having trouble being a landlord? Take my course. Do you rent out units quickly? Take my course. Do you understand how to increase revenues within your existing portfolio? Take my course. Do you need to be looking at different parts of the market to make more revenue? Take my course. That's why the course exists. And so I'm just trying to understand where you guys are at. Maybe if you need something about short-term rentals, dude, I'm not your guy. I'm going to have somebody that's coming on to talk about short-term rental stuff and has a beautiful strategy around it. One that isn't gimmicky. I like his strategy. But again, what I teach is how to maximize your revenue out of your existing assets. And very often people forget that they can make a lot more money managing the existing asset that they have, vastly reducing the amount of time, effort, and energy it takes to manage it. And then also increasing the amount of revenue that you get from it. That is often a far better moneymaker than buying the next asset. That's a mistake that a lot of people make. My management of my assets is something that's very, very important to me, because if I'm at 12 or 13% on an asset, what do I need to do to get into 20 or 22 or 24? Right. And if you focus on those types of things, I can add more deals, but I don't have to add more deals. I just need to continue to optimize, because when the banks have that meeting with you, the meeting that I always tell you guys about with the senior lender, when you talk to them and say, hey, market average, they don't ever hear this from other investors. Market average is about 8 or 9% return. We're at 21. And the reason that we are is because we have created a model within our business that ensures that before we're tackling the next thing or the next thing or the next thing, is that we're optimizing our asset to perform at its highest level while taking the least amount of time. Whoo, this is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. Our Section 8 provider told us that the big cuts won't happen until October 2026. Yeah, I think so, but I think they're going to go flat first. And again, they can say that, but they don't know that. And here's why. Because rents, the way that the model works is 2 years back and 5 years averaged. So there's still room for rents to go up in 2026 by the model. The only places where they aren't going to do that is where there's massive supply because people can access less. So the FMR might be the same, but then the housing authority might not pay the FMR because they can open up any book and go, yeah, there's like 95% of rental units are less than that. So while the FMR allows for that, we're not going to pay that because we don't need to. We can get the units that people need for paying for less. HOA Press, my all-time favorite in advertising was a person paid $1 million for the two X's in Exxon. He justified the fee by saying everyone knows Exxon from the logo. Yep, it's true. Lars Nielsen, Hawaii is awesome. I highly suggest you go to the beaches on the north end of Oahu. Stay away from Waikiki Beach. Mark Oshiro, I'm going to need you to weigh in on this. All-nighter hider, I aim to have a productive $88,000 credit card bill. I need the airline miles. So I did get a boatload of airline miles, but I can honestly tell you, it didn't feel very productive. It didn't feel very productive. Full disclosure, here's what the 88 grand consisted of. $37,000 for one of our insurance payments, for one stack of our policies. $14,000 because of the way the cycle hit. $14,000 for one of our monthly payments because I'm going to take the payment option. I'm going to take the payment option on insurance, put it on my card, not actually have it escrowed. But when they offer me free payments and there's no percentage, there's no difference in cost, I'm going to take the payments every time. Every time. And I'll take the points. So it was 37, 38, 37. Now I don't know. It was either 37 or 38, but then 14 and 14, they came together. So we were 28, and I think it was 37, 28 and the 37. So that became 65. So 65 of the 88 was that. And then another 8,000. So it brings us to 73. Another 8,000 was some tile, and another 5,000 was kitchens, and then the other stuff was all miscellaneous. But damn, 88 grand, freaking hell, brutal. Craig Cameron, all-nighter. I got 50K on the last remodel. It was pretty, almost screwed up my refi. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Josh Burdick, I had my handyman redo my steel building roof. It was nailed without any gasket. Oh, pulled out all of the ring shank nails, screwed down with proper rubber gasket washers. Hopefully that does the trick. It does. If you end up with any issues, I can tell you that there's a couple things you can do. One is called Gaco, Gaco. That's something that they use for roofs on mobile homes. You can roll that on. It's actually pretty good. If you don't want to go to that level, you can also take like a Flex Seal, like a liquid rubber product, and you can put it on each one of those heads. Believe it or not, one of those two options, I've done both of them, and they both worked very well for me. I've done both. They both worked really well. Yep. Lars Nielsen, Waikiki Beach is on the south end of Oahu and is overcrowded and very rocky, whereas the north end has a lot less people. I like that. Very cool. Thank you. Jeremy, I saw a quadplex in South Carolina in the 200s range. Holy crap. Where in South Carolina is that? I am so enticed to send an offer, but it is 4 1-bed, 1-bath units. Awesome. I can imagine those are a bit harder to sell. They are not. As the 1-1 duplex was on market for over 150 days. It's not about selling. You're buying assets to rent out. And so what I'd be looking at is building a rent box and trying to understand what rents are on 1-beds. You know, what I'm trying, and that's the thing about a quadplex, is that it's going to go, you're getting a steal likely if you're buying the thing for 200, but it's driving enough income like it should be 300. They're not selling it like that because it's a 4 unit. So that's where the riches are in the niches. You can get that comp for 200 and something grand, but you're driving enough revenue like the thing costs you 350. Those are my favorite deals. Why do you think I own so many duplexes, triplexes, and quads? Because it's not about what the income is that's generating. This is what I can sell it for. It's not about that. A duplex, triplex, or quad is sold based on a comp, which means the last sale. Well, maybe the last sale was $200,000, but the guy was only getting $500 a month per unit for rent. Well, then they're like, yeah, I mean, but it sold for 200 grand. You won't even see what they were getting for rents. For me, I'm looking for that duplex or quadplex that's for sale for 200 compared to the other one that sold for 200 because that had 4 rents at $500. This one has 4 rents at $600. But even better is it actually has room because where this thing is located at, they're $800 units. Or with the quality of the unit, it's an $800 unit. That's where the magic is. That's where the money is made. Josh Burdick should make tenant happy. Yeah, good. Yep. Charles McCune, Saturday is an 80-20. We're looking at an 80K, 3-2. I know he'll take 20K off market from running my mouth. Nice. Yeah, it's all about what, guys, rent boxes. You got to be doing rent boxes. I'm not seeing enough talk about rent boxes, guys. I'm telling you, this is the market where the rent box is far more important than your buy box. This is the market. You have to know what rents are. Current rents. You got to know what current rents are because here's the buy box, right? I'm buying the buy box. I'm buying this asset. And this isn't to poo-poo the buy box. The buy box is a great idea. Just right now in this market, the rent box is far more important. Why? Because I'm buying the house for this and this is what it's rented for. It's rented for $1,600 a month. Did those rents go down? Did they go down to 15? Did they go down to 14? Are you seeing 2-month vacancies on that asset or that type of an asset in town? That's why I want to know what the rent box is, because the rent box is what things are renting for right now, not what the lease was signed 6 months ago. So what happens if it was signed 6 months ago at $1,600? Or let's say even worse, it was a 2-year lease and it was signed at $1,600, but that was the COVID pricing. And now they're not that anymore here. Now it's more like 14. Yeah. Here's the problem. That's over 10%. Are you making over 10% of the property after expenses? Maybe you aren't. You just went underwater and you're like, nope, I got to get 16. Now you're vacant for months. That's why the rent box, use the rent box to drive your financial decisions for buying. Use that. Yikes, Craig. Thanks for the warning. Nice. Wealth of rentals. If Section 8 pays all rent, sorry, something came across the screen. If Section 8 pays all the rent, will you still want them to have a good credit score? Yup. And would you care if they pay the utilities or not? Yup. Wealth with rentals. What does it mean if Section 8 pays all the rent? And I'm going to look for your answer below. What does it mean? Anybody can answer. What does it mean when Section 8 pays all the rent? Josh Burdick, Waikiki Beach is crowded and thank you for the input. Lars Nielsen, also the North End has a lot more sand on the beaches than Waikiki Beach. Cool. Kyle Dorn, Matt's on fire tonight. I am definitely in stride, my friend. Thank you for noticing. HOA Pres San Jose started a tiny home project, but left all the material out for months and rain exposed all the material and the units have mold problems. Of course, the build was written off as a loss. Congratulations. More stupidity from California. Mark Hambone grew up in Oahu. Very cool. North was the way to go unless you wanted crowds. That's awesome information. Wayne Smith, good evening. Good evening, sir. All Night Hider. Piggybacking of Wealth of Rentals question is, if Section 8 pays all the rent, what becomes the least important consideration, or is there no compromise when choosing a tenant? There is, and I ask you, what does it mean if Section 8 pays all the rent? And I will get to your answer soon. Buzztoon, we told Zuber not to swim in Shishi Beach when he was here. I don't know what Shishi Beach is. Tell me. Go for a dip in the Hawaii Canal. That must be where your wastewater goes. I can't play fic with the power Section 8. They have no income. More than that, different. No ID on Section 8, not my playground. It's important to diversify. I like having some. I don't like having a lot. All rent paid, you're dealing with a really independent tenant that answers my previous piggyback question. Wealth of rentals. I really don't know what it means when Section 8 pays all the rent. May it means that the tenant does not have a job. Yes. Here's what it means more importantly. They're home all the time. They're home all the time. So now you're not talking. Let's, guys, man, this is just killer. Guys, thank you for the amazing questions. You're making this show amazing. I'm just answering the stuff you guys are asking. Here's why it gets so bad. Typical person, wake up at 6:37, take shower, get out the door, go to work. They're gone for the entire day. Maybe they're single and they go out to dinner or drinks with friends and they come home and they sleep. Nice tenant. All they're doing is sleeping at home. Now let's equate that to maybe a older couple. And not older couple like 50s, but like older couple in their late 20s. Well, they come home and they make dinner, they spend time on the couch with each other, and then they go to bed. That Section 8 tenant that doesn't have a job, they are there all the freaking time. They're there 24/7. They might go out for a ride and go check out the Goodwill, or they might go check out some other program that they can get some money out of, but they are there all the time. So they are not there for the 3 waking hours. They're not there for the 3 waking hours. And I can tell you, they almost always have a weird sleeping schedule. Here's what I can tell you. They are there 24/7. They are peeing 24/7. They are shitting 24/7. They are in closets, in water closets. Sorry, I talked to my English friends today. But they're in bathrooms. They're in showers. Yeah, you guessed it. Use. I need it warm in the wintertime. Use. I need it cold in the summertime. Use. Yeah, I never pay no, I do not want to pay their utilities. No. I am paying somebody's utilities right now because I was convinced to do it. They are 150. I'm making $150 a month less on that unit because I pay the utilities, because that person doesn't give a flying fuck. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. Hold on one second. Got to go back up. Some Section 8 tenants have all, with the possible exception of $25 a month. Yeah, that's true. 25, 50, but that means they largely don't have a job. And that means that they're likely home. I don't want people that are home all the time, but I also don't want to pay the utilities. So I need to make sure they still got to pass credit, and they still got to pass one other thing. Not only the credit, but also 3x what their responsibility is going to be in that unit. I need to make sure that they have 3x that cash, because I'm just holding them to the same standard that everybody else. Why are they special? They're not special. Everybody's got to play in the same level playing field. If I'm looking at a unit and it's 3x what your income is, or 3x what your bills are, guess what? I want to see 3x what your bills are. If you don't have that, that's not my problem. That's a requirement. That's not discriminating against anybody. That's holding everybody to the same standard. Home all the time is harder on your unit and systems. Thank you, Josh Burdick. You are exactly correct, sir. HOA Prez, I wanted a Section 8 discharge from the U.S. Army, but it never happened. See, HOA Prez, I know that means crazy. That's why, for those of you who don't know, here's history time. Section 8 in the Army means that you're cuckoo. And guess what they called the housing program? Section 8. Cuckoo. That's why they changed it to Housing Choice Voucher Program. There you go. Learning something new every day, guys. All-nighter, this is a great discussion. It's you guys. You guys are asking the questions. I'm just answering them. If you want a better show, ask better questions. I blame you. Good to see you guys. Yeah. Charles, Matt, where do you optimize your marketing for tenants that are barely home? Where do you give me that question? Give me a little bit more on that question, Charles, and I'm happy to answer it. Jacked up activity schedules may disturb working tenants in multifamily too. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Mark Campbell. That's a great point, Hyder. Yep. For sure. Jacek Piksak. Totally agree with that. Never paid for something you have no control of. Absolutely not. Yeah. Let me just sign up to get screwed. Devil's in the details. Who's screwing me? It better be somebody that I'm attracted to, because I don't want to take it from somebody that I'm not. Yeah, it's nuts. Guys, we had a crazy busy week this week. We got 3 units. Ready for Section 8. Passed inspections, got the tenants. Like, it's killer. Like 3. And they're 3 good ones. They're 3 good good tenants. Yeah, I'm really honestly, I'm really kind of excited. They're 3 really good tenants. Yeah, excited for that. More Nuggets and Gold Rush tonight. All nighter higher. You make me blush, but I can't disagree with you. I'm crushing it right now. But yeah, Josic hit the nail on the head. You guys don't want to take ownership of something that you can't control. So here's another thing, right? This is something that's really, really, really interesting. So we went through a process with the emergency rental assistant program, right? So this was the emergency rental assistance program that was years ago, now 3 years ago during COVID. And the plan manager said, what I want to do is I really want you to take everything. So we'll pay you more. And I'm like, yeah, interesting. And she's like, and this makes it easier. And I'm like, okay. After 1 month, I figured out what it was. Yeah, I made her life easier and I made my life hell. Because why? I now had 14 tenants that I had to pay their electric bill. I had 14 tenants that I had to make sure that they didn't run out of, that they had their gas bill paid, or even worse, an oil tank filled. Horrible. We saw one unit run up a $900 heat bill. $900. Found out that the kid liked to, in the summertime, liked to have the cold air from outside on him. So he would just open up the fucking window. Sorry for swearing. That just absolutely pissed me off. Literally on that unit. I mean, I was making, I don't know, $300 a month. In the wintertime, I wasn't making anything. It was not good. It was not good. It was not good. You're welcome. Wealth Rentals, you're welcome. All nighter hider. That which gets subsidized gets worse. That's the government's mission statement. That is actually very true. Hider's dead on. You know, you see, it's just look at a chart around unemployment. Look at history, and you'll find that between 1 and 4 weeks before their unemployment expires, their job hunting explodes. Look at it. It's an unbelievable document. I've seen it. Wealth Rentals, that's that which gets, yes, large deals. Matt, I was wanting to go to watch McKenna play for PSU. However, the cheapest ticket is, was $300 to watch PSU play Stonehill University. Yep. Let's not get into what it is to watch him play against the Big Ten. Dude, that kid's a stud. I am pumped for that kid. And doesn't he have a brother too? I think he has a brother that's a little bit younger. And I think the brother's better. I think it's like a Pedro Ramon Martinez thing. But yeah, McKenna. Oh man, he's filthy. Yep. Yes. Yeah. Yep. No, I think Bedard is still a stud. He's got no one around him to put the puck in the net, and that kid is still a rock star. I'm telling you, Bedard on a good team playing second line. And then, I mean, he's 19 years old, man. He's 19 years old. It's a 19-year-old kid. Like, he's a boy built like a man in a man's game. Like, I'm telling you, Bedard is going to be a stud. He's absolutely, you know who I comp him to? I think he's a more skilled Martin St. Louis. He's going to be a great player. He really will be. I agree. I think. Charles McHugh, we need an A, a B, and a C on tenants selection course. Okay. A, B, and C on tenant selection courses. Yeah, there's a lot there. I mean, we have the same standard criteria that we use for every single tenant, but then we want more information with the data that we're getting. Here's your top 3 real quick. 800 credit scores are as bad as 500 credit scores. That's one of mine. That's one of my sayings for sure. 800 credit scores are as bad as 500 credit scores. It's not a charity. It's not a charity. And your worst renters will be female divorcees. You're welcome. There's your top 3 right there. I plan on using the technique if possible. I'll make sure to keep everyone up to date. All night hider. I was on a Zoom meeting about legally avoiding cap gains taxes. This is an unconventional method, but seldom used. Involves an LLC, quitclaim deed, assumable loan, and funds that don't settle. Yeah, I mean, and there's ways to do that sort of stuff. I've seen them. I just don't feel comfortable doing them. That's just me. Thank you, Charles McCune. You're welcome, man. My pleasure. Ike Hobbs, my brother was doing that utility thing when he lived in an apartment. Patio door open and AC on. Closed on a duplex this month and already asking me how to control his tenant's thermostat. Here's how you do it. Go buy, he doesn't even pay utilities for the tenant, just doesn't want them wearing out the AC. Here's exactly how you do it. Not a joke. You go buy a thermostat limiter where it can only be set to something. Or you give it a range 68 to 70, or you give it a range of 69 to 71. That's what you do. No joke. No joke. That's not illegal. It's not illegal. Jeremy, thanks for the exclamation, Matt, on the quadplex. I was thinking about that all wrong. Not at all. I didn't want to imply that you were thinking about it wrong. That's just how I think about it. And it's, my way's worked for a long time. So I want to understand, look at the, talk to Section 8. Is there a big demand for one bedrooms? Do a rent box. Is there a big demand for one bedrooms? So I bought a building, right? So I bought a building that was all one beds. What's really interesting is that it's really not all one beds. It's 2 one beds and 2 beds. But what's really interesting about it is it was priced based on it being all one beds. I can change the configuration around and actually make it be 2 2s. But here's what's really interesting. What's really interesting about that scenario is that the rents were under market. Now I paid 600 and something thousand bucks for this building. And you might go, holy crap, that's a ton of money. It is. Do you know what Section 8 pays for a one bedroom? $1820, $1830, $1820. It's right around there. $1820 or $1830. So let's do the math real quickly, right? That's a massive number because you're talking about basically $7,500, $7,600 right around there. That's much less than the 1% rule. That $7,500, my mortgage, I bought the house, I put 20% down. So I've got like a $450,000 mortgage on it. I want to say the rate is 6 something, I think. Right around there. So with taxes, insurance, and everything, I'm a little over $4,000 a month with taxes, insurance, and everything. I'm a little over $4,000 a month. I'm making a couple of thousand, or maybe I'm close to 5. I'm closer to 5, but I'm at $7,500 a month of income. That's a $2,500 nut there. That's off of 1 bedrooms. But I have a line, literally a line, because I was like, you know what? I don't want to do a major rehab on that unit. It's nice. It's clean. It's safe. It's perfect for Section 8. Give them a quick call. Hey, do you have any one beds? She goes laughing. She's laughing at me. She's like, yeah, of course I got one bed vouchers. Of course I do. It's like, how many do you have? She's like, a dozen right now. I'm like, awesome. Send me their names and numbers. I talked to all of them. One of these ladies really super nice. She's thrilled. She's moving in. What does she care? She's paying like $235 a month. And she's in an awesome new unit that could be used as a 2-bedroom. And she's thrilled. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. All-nighter. Ironically, I am starting a charity. That's good. It's very nice. Wealthwood Rentals, worst tenant reminder. Worst tenant. My worst tenant. Is that what you're asking? Jason Calcimetta. Yes, Bedard is completely alone. He still has tons to grow and is constantly improving. Bedard's a stud, man. I'm telling you. There is not a Bruins player right now that I would not. There's probably not 3 Bruins players aside from Pasternak and Swayman. There's probably not 3 Bruins players I wouldn't trade for him. Easy. What's your favorite online real estate searching website? Zillow, Realtor.com. Good question. It's probably I spend my most time on Zillow. Yep. REI Jared called out the low hassle of a 1-bed 6-plex I was looking at. The low hassle. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, they're nice, and they rent really well, but you just need to find out that your market needs those and supports them. Usually they do, because Section 8 has a lot of people that are getting vouchers that are older. And even if it's husband and wife, they're not getting a 2-bedroom, they're getting a 1. If it's a single older person, because one of the spouses already passes, they're getting a 1-bedroom. This is what I'm telling you. 1-bedrooms they're gonna close the gap with 2 and 3-bed units for sure. Kyle Dorn, oh shit, you said the quiet part out loud. Yeah, you said it, not me. It's true. I always screw that up and say the quiet part out loud. 11. We are at 10:30, but all day or Slayer, I'll answer your question. What percentage ratio are you in cash versus assets? Don't know. Don't know. It's not, I think that is, I don't look at it that way. The reason that I don't look at it that way is because the value of the asset has very little to do with the amount of it that I own, right? So I might have, let's say, 10 million bucks worth of real estate, but I owe $8 million of debt. So I've got a $2 million net worth in that equation. The challenge is that in a down economy, or as an economy shifts, it might not be worth 10 million. It might be worth 8.5. It might be worth 8. Don't know. And then you have to come to the table. And again, cash, I don't want millions of dollars of cash sitting on the sidelines, because that means it's not, if you have a proven business model, the most important thing that you can do is reinvest. So Warren Buffett's got these mounds and mounds and mounds of cash. The problem is he's such a big company that what he would acquire has to be a big splash. He makes small acquisitions all the time, but it has to be a big splash because of how big the company is. For us as landlords, it never has to be that big. Like, I'm always happy to add another asset. I added 3 more this month. I didn't have any intention of buying 3 deals this month, but when my project house sold and I had a 1031, I had $340,000 that I had to find a home for. Otherwise it was going to be taxed. I didn't want it taxed. So I found $380,000 worth of real estate that I could exchange that $340,000 of cash for. The difference is that on the back side of that, I actually do a cash out refi. So I close on the property, pay the fees, then I do a cash out refi on the back end. And that's how I get my money out of those deals. And so then I create a stack of cash. But yeah, I don't want millions and millions of dollars sitting there. I just don't. Why? I want that cash returning me something, and I don't want to put it in the market that could collapse 700 points in a day. I like the housing because it's slow. And even if rents go down $100 a month or $200 a month or $300 a month, like, I don't have to outrun the market. I only have to outrun you. Well, I've put myself in a position where longevity puts me at a significant advantage over anybody that's bought something in the last 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, because it really is about the margin and the cash flow. So I never look at, I've got this much in assets and I've got this much in cash flow. I want operating cash flow. I want enough where if everything goes sideways for a 1 or 2 year period, I'm still good. I'm not sweating it. That's where I honestly was like, hey, is this 15 vacant units? Is this going to go sideways and get worse? Are we going to go to 20 or 25? Or are we going to go down to 5? The good news is that we went down to 2. That's the good news. Yep. If a good tenant wants to move out, but not until November, would you wait for them? If a good tenant wants to move in, but not until November, would you wait for them? No, not November. September, October. I'd go back and I'd negotiate and I'd say, why don't we do a slow and measured move instead of November? Let's just agree on, so I'll give up September, but I want to see at least for October, and I want to see a deposit. I would do that deal. Charles McHugh, downsizing. Yep. It could be downsizing, but most people aren't going to downsize out of a house into an apartment. They're going to downsize out of a house into a house. It's just going to be a different house. So would you not rent to people who work from home? The people that work from home almost always still have to go in the office for something. But again, if that's the case, they're paying for all of those utilities, can afford all of those utilities. But if I find out that they rent from home yeah, I'm less likely to pick them than if they're on the road traveling all the time. I have this one guy who's home like 4 days a month. Love that guy. Love that guy. Charles McHugh, the older people with money will save money by downsizing and shore up their finances. Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes. I mean, you like to see that more often than I do because I still see a lot of people in their 60s and 70s act like assholes with money and they just can't do math. Lars Nielsen, the bank cares about the amount of liquidity to debt. Yep, most have a preferred amount of total payments in cash, not cash to assets. Yeah, that's a better way of putting it. Yeah, for sure. Yep. So what I care about, and what the bank looks at me is they want to know that I've got runway. If somebody stops paying tomorrow, or if I have one tenant that's 80% of my income, that's some of the reasons I haven't bought some of these massive properties is because, like retail strip malls. That's one of the things that's scary. If Dollar General wants to leave, do I have better attorneys or more attorneys than Dollar General? Nope, I don't. They can squash me. They can drag it out. They can make it painful. And that's what I'm concerned about, right? So that's the focus that I have is I like not any tenant being more huge than the next one, right? Like I think our biggest tenant pays maybe like $11,000 a month. I think our biggest tenant pays, but that's a business. And that business is a healthy business. If things change with that business, they can still pretty easily make the $11,000. But yeah, I wouldn't want a ton of those because in a down economy, like, we saw when Pease Air Force Base left our area, we saw 5,000 families leave and a bunch of local businesses closed. They didn't have the customer base to pull from anymore. That's a problem. So yeah, for us, we just want to be conservative. We want to be well diversified. So we're renting to first responders. We're renting to military. We're renting to, to college students. We're renting to, young kind of first time renters. We're renting to some retirees. And we're renting to Section 8, so we know that it's subsidized. We're renting to H-1B visa. So, we have 7 different pools of people that we pull from. Market tenants is another one. So we have 7 or 8 different pools of people that we're pulling from. And I don't think any pool is more than 20%. That's critical, right? That's critical. Because even if one sector got hit super hard and they go from 20 units down to 10 units paying, well, then I only have 10 units paying and all these other sectors are okay. Government, first responder, college students that are getting loans, young employees because, their participation. We have one tenant where the breakdown is about $650 a month, including utilities per person. Now they don't have individual leases. They're joint and severally liable. They sign one lease. And so I think it's 5 or 6 tenants there. So it's 3,300 to 3,900 right around there. But as I'm looking at that 33 to 3,900, can anybody make $600 in a month? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm much less worried about that unit. Much less. I would be more worried about a unit where it's a husband and wife team, right? Think about this. Husband and wife, they make $6,000 a month, $6,000 or $7,000 a month. They are at my 3 times. Wife loses her job. She was half that income. Whoops. They're not going to be able to pay for long. These are the things that you guys need to consider. So I always handicap my portfolio and handicap like a golf score, but I always handicap my portfolio to make sure that I'm diversified within my portfolio with not only different assets that are different different tenant bases. So Dion really kind of runs it based on industry and kind of what's around. That's only part of my equation. The bigger part of my equation is many different assets. He likes to do it very different areas. I don't like that because that vastly increases the amount of team members. Again, not a big deal at 18 units, a huge deal at 150 units, because that means I need that many more repairmen. I need that many more plumbers. I need that many more of all these different things. All-nighter. Thank you, Lars. Reminds me of debt service coverage ratio. Yep, DSCR. Without the ratio and with reserve payments. Makes sense. Yes. Charles McCune. Lars, please explain more about the banking ratio. Yeah, Lars is a banker. Like debt service ratio. Yes. Jeremy, for the quadplex, the rent is $300 under market in each unit, semi-updated with LVP floors. Would you buy a single family with no washer dryer hookups? I know Deanna's super against that. Yeah, I bought plenty of them. Washer dryer hookups are not the moon. They're really easy to put in. They're not that hard. All you need is a drain line and then a hot and cold supply line, which means you're going to pull a line off a hot and you're going to have your little box put in. Like a plumber will probably charge you $1,500 maybe to install hot and cold supplies and a drain. So that would something so small, not belittling you. I'm just saying, putting in perspective, something so small as a $1,500 investment is not going to stop me from buying a house. I'll put them in. Charles McCune, I'm looking at cash and assets and how to be bankable if I need it. You want to know how to be bankable? Not need it. No joke. That's exactly how it goes. The wealthier I got, the more money I got thrown at me by banks. When I was poor, when I had no money, I could not get a return phone call. Yep. Lars Nielsen, Charles, are you on Matt Lumberjack's course? If so, please send me a message over the network. Yeah, that's cool. Charles, I think it is a liquid to leverage ratio. Yeah. So there's certain, again, you only need so much liquid based on how leveraged you are. But that's where it's challenging for newer landlords, right? You buy the house in the last 2 years and you got a 7.5% rate. You might make $300 to $500 a month on the building. Somebody moves out and you don't get a replacement tenant fast enough, you're paying. Jeremy, Matt, you've been dropping tons of gems today. I need to look at the course. Jeremy, I agree with you. Guys, my course is the best value on the internet. I will put it up against anybody's course, even the ones that are 10 times the price. There is no doubt in my mind, zero, that if you take my course and you implement those things as I have implemented them, there is no doubt in my mind you are a far better equipped landlord than any other course is going to make you. I just honestly believe that. Because I self-manage, I grew it from nothing to 153 units. I grew it from nothing to 53 buildings, and I've done every type of deal there is. I've done a wholesale deal. I've done tax deeds. I've done tax sales. I've done foreclosures. I've done short sales. I've done off-market deals. I've done seller carry deals. I've done every type of deal you could possibly imagine. It's there. Jeremy Matt is organized in his course. Yes, it's there. Jeremy, honestly, watch the syllabus. That gives you the breakdown of all 11 modules, and then there's 3 sub-modules to that. I can confirm I took the course, and it made me feel a lot more confident to purchase my first duplex. I love that, Jeremy. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's what we're here for, man. That's what we're here for. We want you to feel more confident. We want you to feel stronger about what you're doing. Thank you, Hyder, for putting that there. Yeah, where's Chester? Is he okay? Wealth building journey? Is he good? Hope he's all right. Chester, hope you're good, buddy. But yeah, awesome opportunity. I'm telling you, this market. So there's some new content that I'm working on for that. Deconstructing Dreams of Financial Journey. Howdy from Rena. Good to see you from Rena. Matt, will the STR guy be in the course of the boot camp? So the STR guy is actually going to be a main channel. I'm going to do a main channel for you guys. Then we'll invite him. So what I'm doing, just so you guys know what the project is, I invited a bunch of people with skills that I don't have or stuff that I haven't done before because I want to expand our community. So I invited a bunch of people, a bunch of YouTubers, paid a lot of money to a team to create and to just reach out to people and gather data. So in doing that, there were some guys that we really liked and we know that can teach you some stuff. So I did a video with them. And what I'm going to be looking for you guys for is to tell me who you want back on the channel, who you want to hear more from. It's a little bit like what Zuber's done. The only difference is that the main difference is that in working with these guys community wise, like I'm agreeing to go speak in their communities. They're going to speak in mine because I want to give you guys more perspective. Now they're all people that I've talked to. They're all people that I've seen their strategies. They're all people that have done the work. They're all people that self-manage, basically. And it's because I want doers. So I'm basically trying to find other messed up people just like me. So Lars, that guy will be on the channel. In fact, I think he booked something. I think it's booked next week that we get to see him. I've got 4 videos already recorded. I got 3 more coming. Because basically what I want to do is I want to put them out there once a week, every week until the end of the year. I'm just that series will probably start in October. All Day or Slayer, 150 units. Does every tenant have your number? No, I'm not stupid. There must be something every day. Nope. It goes into the system, but I run my entire company from this little silly thing. Not only tenants, but outsourcing tradesmen. You probably have hundreds of people you are in contract with constantly. In contact with? No. Like today, I'll give you an example. Today was a pretty busy day, actually, but I'll share exactly what my day looked like. Let's do a real quick look. So another PM, a buddy of mine, another YouTuber that I was interviewing for this series, my one employee, my agent, flooring guy, Portsmouth Housing, a buddy of mine, my rental agent, my real estate agent, because we were meeting up today, an attorney on the closing, an appliance guy, and an appliance delivery guy. That was my day, and a plumber. But that was the day today that was crazy because we have, if you haven't heard yet, All Dayer, we're redoing a jail, an actual old police station jail. So we're redoing that. And so half of those calls were those guys. So right now we're really super busy. But that's not a typical day, just to be honest. That's not a typical day. But we've been crazy busy the last 2 weeks because we've been filling those units. We went from 17 basically to 2. So that's been crazy busy. And a lot of that work around that has been that. Yeah. Chester was on yesterday. He's okay. Okay, good. Good. Jason Calcibetta, the course is so worth it. I don't disagree. I think it is too. All-nighter, all dayer. Matt has a CRM kind of program where the tenants interact with the program and the important stuff comes to Matt's desk. Yes. Yep. That's basically it. Everything is 100% automated and I can see it. I love to hear more on the STRs. Mine is doing awesome, making more with it than my W2 all summer. That's awesome. Love that. Like the downloadable documents as well. Yeah. So we have like 19 documents in the library that you guys can download. And it's not saying use this in your market. It's saying this is the type of document that you should have for your market. So understand what the context of this document is, what it does for you, what it gets you, and then have an attorney that actually can draft conceptually what that does, but with your state's language. Yeah, I'm not Bigger Pockets. And they really only do leases by state. And again, I like my lease a lot more. Yeah, I like my lease a lot. I actually, here's a quick tip on how to get the best lease. Look and see who the best attorney is in the courtroom. Go watch them and then have a conversation with them and then ask them if they own rental units. And if they do, that's your guy. If you like the way that they handle themselves in the courtroom, that's the win. And that's the thing is I love my courtroom guy. He's a junk-haired dog. I actually have a bunch, 9 attorneys right now. Now they're not on like the payroll, but I have 9 attorneys that I interact with. So this week I've talked to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This week I've talked to 5 of my 9. Short conversations, nothing crazy. We need a jail walkthrough update. Josh Burdick, there is one on the channel. I walked through it like a week and a half ago with my daughter. So when you hear me going, Eliana, that's me. And I love my daughter, but man, she was feeling her oats that day. And she was just Man alive. She got me. She just owned me that day. But yeah, you can look at it on the channel. We did one of the walkthrough of the flip house that I did, and we did one on the jail. So you'll see them both on the channel, but they were walkthroughs. Yeah. Jainier Villafane. Hello. Yanir. I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. But welcome. I'm glad you came. Good to have you. Why do I always think of Elvis when the jail comes up? Jailhouse Rock, dude. Like, of course. I guess that's a TRM, tenant relations manager. Yeah. Lars, Matt, I'm interested in using a hybrid STR LTR strategy to get diversified in better neighborhoods and offset the amount of money to the evil IRS. Yeah, I think this guy's got a pretty cool strategy. I'm interested to get your guys' feedback, but he's going to be on the channel, I think, like I said, the next couple of weeks. And well, he won't be on, but he'll be on in September. But we're going to record our stuff together. I think his stuff might get out faster. I might get out faster on his channel first, but we'll see. Larry Bird, have you done a video from the jail? I think I saw it. Yeah. Yep. Just did one. We've done a few, but I just did the most recent update. And then the next big update is going to be next week. The next big update will be next week's. Our courtrooms are a lot slower than yours. Yeah, you can, so I traveled to an area that has 130,000 people where there were a lot more eviction cases. Yeah. So, and I found the guy that I liked. How did I miss that? I'll go find it. It's there. I promise. It's a good one too. It's good. The important thing is to stay safe. Had a completely crazy person pull a knife on me. Yes, I agree. Larry Bird, I think if Johnny Cash from the jail comes up, it's true. He won't be performing there. Having issues with seller financing, any recommendation to get traction? Seller financing is not nearly as easy as people make it seem. You're going to get 100 no's before you get one yes. Yeah, it's hard. They just are. They're just hard deals to do because you're asking a person to trust you with their financial future because they don't want to do repossessions. They don't want to do all that stuff. So it's just really hard. Yeah, it's just really hard. As far as recommendation to get traction, no, it's really just being able to, learn from all the people that pitch seller financing. For me, we don't sell it. We don't pitch seller financing, but I still get seller finance deals. And long story short, here's kind of how I get it. Is I have a conversation with them and I just say, you're looking to, we're going and talking about the house and it's like, oh, you're interested in selling? Yeah. Just kind of tired of, tenants, termites, toilets, blah, blah, blah. Oh, cool. Yeah, I get it. Like it's brutal. Sadly, I'm years away from being able to give up on that, sadly. So, but are you looking to try and exit the property and just be done with it and not have to talk about it or hear about it anymore? Or are you hoping that you still have some sort of do you like the monthly payment thing? Do you like getting rent checks every single month? What's the answer to that question going to be, kids? Asking somebody if they like getting a rent check every month. What's the answer to that? It's yes. The answer is always yes. Great. So what we do is in lieu of us going out and getting a bank, in lieu of us going out there and getting a bank to basically give you a big, huge chunk of money where you're then going to have to pay a bunch of capital gains taxes. What we actually do is we actually set it up where you hold the mortgage. You can see what our financial standing is, but you can hold the mortgage and we let you hold that. And then you still make a ton of money off the building, but you don't actually have to deal with tenants, termites. In fact, when you drive by, you get to laugh at us and point and go, they have to deal with tenants and termites and toilets. But I'm just getting a check because now I'm a bank. And so we have that conversation and that conversation usually goes pretty well. The biggest issue is that it has to be about them, has to be about income. They also have to own the asset outright. If they don't own the asset outright, that's the issue, is that there's not a ton of there's plenty of assets that don't have debt on them, but most of them do. Let's see. There's lots of money to be made in F neighborhoods, but you need a thick skin. Yeah, true story. Great idea. Travel to more action in court. Yeah, absolutely. Travel to more action in court. What you want to do is that you want it to be within an hour of where your rentals are, because you want to make sure that attorney will drive to you, but you want to see them in action. I love going to court and seeing them in action. I'm bummed there's no court. Like I'm waiting to see some court like in a couple of weeks. I've got such a busy September. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Carry concealed. Yeah. You might get lucky and want to know on seller financing. Never going to do it again to keep my record perfect. Now that's just silly. You're going to go and try and find another deal. But yeah, Farinelli got where he's 1-0 on seller finance deals. Found the deal. We talked about it in boot camp and boom, he put together an offer and he gets a deal done. Loved it. It was awesome being a part of it. Yeah. Yeah. Followed Matt's tips and it worked. Yeah. It was awesome. We got to do that in the boot camp. And so because we were in the boot camp, I was like, all right, what are they saying? What are they doing? What's the asset? How do we have the conversation with the guy? What's the guy saying to you? And we got to literally break it down and spend time on it every week. And so it was awesome to see him get that deal and win. And it's going to be a big money winner for him. So I love being able to be part of that. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Another way to purchase aside from banking and seller finance. Yeah, you could do DSCR like Hyder says. Yeah, debt service coverage ratio loan. Look at Convoy, CONVOY Convoy home loans are based out of California. All day or Slayer, attorneys, accountants, tax person, employees, tenants, outsourcing work, CRM management, bankers, finding new deals, and I'm sure you have other people you contact. I find myself being burnt out a lot. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm in my late 40s. I spent my 20s and 30s working my ass off, and I got to retire at 46. Wouldn't change it. I got to retire at 46. I get to spend a ton of time with my kids. And right now my days are busy, but I can tell you in June and July, my days were nothing. And what's really funny is like once October hits, guys, if you haven't recognized, that's why the boot camps happen then. They happen in the first of the year, 12 weeks in. They happen again another 12 weeks after that. Then I don't do anything in the summertime because I'm slammed. And then we do them again starting usually September because everything starts to slow down. And October's dead, November's dead, and December's dead. That's why the boot camps happen then. I'm not doing a bunch of rentals. I usually don't have a bunch of construction. I'm closing up on this massive construction project at the jail, multi-million-dollar building. But when we're closed on it and we're done, I don't have another project behind it. So I'm literally just looking to take some time off for the first time in 5 or 6 years. That's it. But yeah, all of those things, all day or Slayer to that end, that was today. Yesterday was maybe 4 of those people. The day before that might've been 3 or 4 of those people. But we're in our height of our season of finishing a project and rentals and having 15 that went to 17, that went down to 2, having to get those rented. So I'm very confident October is going to be dead. It's going to be dead. Usually is. And needing energy and coffee to maintain focus. I don't do energy drinks and I don't do coffee. How do I stay focused? Tasks. That's it. Tasks that need to get done. Put together a list of the things that are open items, make sure that they're addressed, and then follow up on them. It's not crazy hard. There really isn't. Again, I run the entire company right here from this. I left my laptop on a plane. It was lost for 3 weeks. Ran my company from this. Didn't even use a laptop. The only thing that I needed to do was I needed to have my wife put together 4 or 5 leases that we had rented places out. All Nighter Hider, Convoy Mortgage, Velocity Mortgage, both offer DSCR loans. They do. Yeah, and the focus all day is really just focusing on what needs to get done. It's really just looking at what needs to get done and saying, this is, we talk to my guys about, and that's a CEO thing. We talk to the guys a lot about, what needs to get done and what work has to happen. It's being able to plan that out and saying, so the rule is on an apartment, it's always, what's my fastest to revenue? We're always, because of our size, we're always going to have a couple units open. The question is, and that's not true. We actually do get full rental, but let's say a majority or sometimes we have units that need to get rented. Well, which ones am I closest to? This one needs $1,000 worth of work. This one needs $2,000 or $3,000 worth of work. And this one I can complete basically in 3 or 4 days. This one's going to take a couple of weeks. Boom, this one 3 or 4 days, boom, on the market. We're trying to get rented. This one, spend the next couple of weeks getting it done, trying to get it rented. That's what happens. How did you buy your first rentals? How? I found a place, made an offer, and they accepted it. I'm not trying to be, goofy with you. Legitimately, like I house hacked my first place. I couldn't afford to buy a rental. I couldn't afford to move into a place. I couldn't afford to buy a house. So I reached out to my network of friends and said, who wants to live near the city? And a bunch of people raised their hands. And I was like, who has the money to live near the city? 2 people still had their hands raised. And so I went shopping, found the right place. Couldn't qualify by myself. I reached out to them and I was like, hey, I need a roommate. Got them under lease, moved in. The rest is history. That was my first place. That's a great stress test. Lose your laptop, add it to the course. Yeah, dear God, that was not awesome. I gotta be honest, that sucked. That was like the guys who are amazing fishermen. And they landing 6-pound bass with 20-pound test line. And then they're just like, let's make it a little more of a game of it. I'm going to go out there with 6-pound test line. That shit snaps super easy. So that's what they do. The phone may be harder. Yeah, the phone's way harder. It's not actually. So for the phone's easier for everything because the phone's set up now for everything. The only thing that's easier on the laptop, is looking at plans when I've designed something. And writing leases. That's the only thing that's easier. Everything else easier on my phone. How did you scale up? One after the next. That's it. It was every single move was one move only, which was do a good deal. Cool. Got that one done. Do another good deal. Cool. Got that one done. Do another good deal. Everybody's looking for like 100 deals. You don't need 100. You need one. So you look at every single one and you're just like, I want to make sure it's a really good deal. That's what you do. And you keep on doing deals when they're really good deals. And so that's what I did. So, during COVID, everybody else was a coward and thought the world was going to collapse. And so what happened was rates went from 6.5 to 3 or 3.5. And the pricing of the houses stayed the same and they didn't move. And people were like trying to get out of it as quickly as they possibly could. So I got a bunch of that 3.5 and 4% debt. And I started buying a bunch of assets, as many as I could get my hands on. I bought 23 deals in 19 months. That's how you do it. Do you also do flips or just rentals? I'm new here. All good all day. I do some flips, not very often though. We do it, and when I say not very often, like once or twice a year, we do a flip. I can do them in 30 to 60 days, but usually what we do is we use them as fillers. So if one of our guys needs more work, hey, go over here and work on this. If something cancels, hey, go over here and do work on this house. That's kind of the stuff. Yeah. That's kind of how we do it. Did you use investors' money? No, I have no investors. Nope. Only my own. No one else's money. Only my own. Nope. All day, or hopefully you're getting all the answers to your questions. I appreciate all the new folks. I appreciate all my guys who usually show up, but I appreciate the new folks too. Love to answer your questions. Daryl, I believe you stated a while back that you use spreadsheet and not QuickBooks. Yes. I have 2 spreadsheets. I have 2 properties, and I'm about to use a spreadsheet to save money. I feel like it is a waste. It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. We were spreadsheets until we were 40 properties or 40 units. It was too much. I waited too long. And then we bought QuickBooks Property Manager, and that was really promising when it started out, and then it got worse and worse and worse. But we still had files in there and all that other stuff. So yeah, we did that. Charles McCoon, please talk more about not wanting to buy that cash Please talk about not wanting to buy that cash flowing buy. The building that I just bought, the cash flows that I didn't really want to buy, that one, the one off of Dion's channel. Charles, is that the one you're talking about? Is that the one you're talking about? And then I'll answer. Yep. Cool. So the one that I bought that I didn't want to buy, I felt awful because I thought his idea was really good. And he's like, I made an offer and I didn't want to make an offer. And then I was like, I mean, I bought something I didn't really want to buy. It's the honest truth. So what I bought that I didn't really want to buy, it's a duplex. It's a 4-2, 4 upstairs, 2 downstairs. Nice yard, great area. It'll make money. The reason I didn't want to buy it was because I think that those will get softer. I think those will get softer. I think that the price of that property probably goes down a little bit more. The reason I didn't want to buy it was because I wanted to have more leftover cash from my 1031 that I cashed out of. And instead I spent $100,000. So I think 340. I think I left 80 in the other ones. So down to 260. I would have been very happy putting 260 in the account and holding 260. So basically a $250,000. But I bought this, and so it brought me down to 160 or 150. So I don't love it. It's nice. It's a decent property. It's a good property, but I didn't need another duplex. And when I mean didn't need another one, I just think that there's going to be better deals this winter time. And so I'm creating more and more cash flow. That's all. Yeah. Hi, Nair. What properties did you focus on? Just multifamily? 5+ units? No 5+ units. Those buildings are very often unattainable in areas because the real investors, the big boys, can stroke a check for that stuff because they know that they can buy it, increase the cash flow, and that's going to be the driver of the sale price. For me, I look at inefficient markets. My biggest focus is looking at the inefficiency of a market and then buying assets that are inefficiently priced in those markets. It's too much to explain tonight, but basically that's what I do. I look at inefficiently priced assets. And I call them assets because that's what they are. They're not houses, they're assets to me. So I look at inefficiently priced assets. And that's like the comparison I made earlier. The comparison is if you buy a property that has 4 rents at $1,000, or excuse me, 6 rents at $1,000, you already have to figure out cap rate and all that other stuff. And here's what your number is. But everybody does that. I'd rather be the bigger fish in the smaller pond. And I'd rather buy a 4-plex that comps out at 200, but has $1,000 a month rents that actually shows a massive return on capital that I still have some ability to get some upside in. But I rather buy those types of inefficient or inappropriately priced assets. I'd much rather buy those than buy 5, 7s, and 10s. And their 5, 7s, and 10s are tough to get, and you're going to have a lot more competition. If you're going to be contractor, I would absolutely go crazy without my laptop. Yeah, trust me, I was going nuts. I'm so pissed. I was so grateful to get it back, but thankfully life is set up enough where I could bumble along on just my phone. But yeah, it drove me nuts because having to see things, and I would come down to I spent more time in my studio, but I wasn't more productive. I was just having to come down here and look at this, look at stuff. So it grew up a little. So it was bigger, larger to catch. Ryan, I'd love to catch you and Gary. Charles McCool, Kuhn. That's how, hold on. That's how I took it. You felt like there was better coming. Yeah, that's exactly right. I feel like there's better coming. I feel like there's better deals out there. It's a nice deal. It's really funny. My agent says to me, he goes, "Hey, if you want," he's like, "we can put this right back on the market," because it appraised for $50,000 more than what I paid for it. I know how to buy property, right? I know how to buy assets. So it was underpriced. So I bought it for $50,000 less than what it's worth. So the cool thing is $50,000 less than what it's worth. He's like, "We can put it on for $50,000. I was like, "Yeah, we could. We could." The only problem is that then I sell it I would make 50,000 bucks. He would get 20 of that. I'd make 30 grand. And it's not worth the headache because I had to do all the due diligence and go through and get this thing purchased. But he's like, we could put it up for 499, and then you make, your 70, or I think 419 was my actual price. So maybe. Yeah, maybe. Steven, hey Matt, just listed my property for rent and wanted to ask, what are some tips to screen tenants for showing? Should I get credit scores and statements? Yes, you need to get credit scores, but don't pull them yourself. Get them to take a snapshot of the screen and send it to you. Make sure you can see their name and make sure you see the score, but Credit Karma gives you those things. On the statements, yes, I want a couple months of bank statements. When you're asking them and talking to them, ask them, oh, so we have rent due on the 1st. Is that when your rent's currently due? They'll say yes. Then when they get you bank statements, look at how close to the 1st they paid. If they paid early, they're probably a pretty good tenant. If they paid on time, they're a pretty good tenant. If they paid late and pay late consistently, they're probably not a very good tenant. Any opinion on the Ohio market? There's 3 Ohio markets. 4. Cleveland is a big market. Dayton is a big market. Cincinnati is a big market. And then you got kind of the rest of the state. So I have no opinion on them. For me, it's all about asset management and understanding, kind of what it looks like. Yeah. Yep. Jim, Mike talked me to going into back there for a week. Yes, that's true. The 1st through the 7th. Yeah, you're there next week, right, Heider? I might be there. I'm trying to figure it out. That's awesome. Jim. Who's Jim? I know Millennial Mike did. Yeah. Matt, man, thank you. Just listed it and got 5 hits within the first hour of doing your course trick. That's awesome. Good for you, man. Good for you. That's awesome, Steven. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. So nervous because it's available October 12th. Yeah. Now your biggest thing is going to be like, you can't have to move in too fast. I'm not ready yet till October 12th. Just screen. Be thorough. Get their Credit Karma snapshot. Make sure you're getting the payments to their landlords. Make sure you're seeing their bank income statements. That's it. You do that and just have that conversation and you're going to find the right tenant. Just listed it and got 5 hits within the first hour doing your course trick. That's awesome. Good job, man. Good job. Good for you. Jason, I'm going to try and stop out there for a day or two also. Oh, nice. Nice. That's awesome. I'll be strapped. Yeah, that's true. You're going to be strapped. I know that you're going to be in crazy. Flak vest, body armor. The idea is you travel with Millennial Mike. That's the idea. You travel with him and you travel with Dion and they pack. Yep. That's the deal. They can get away with that stuff. I can get away with that stuff. They're all law enforcement. All right, guys, went 45 minutes long tonight. Today was a really long day. It's been a good week. We went from 17 down to 2. I'll announce it next week when I sign one of these contracts. It's my biggest lease ever. It's my biggest lease ever. It is over the next 5 years. They will pay me over $250,000, and the next 5 years they'll pay me about $300,000. So that's one unit. It's really exciting. It's been a lot of work, but I'm excited for it. I'm really excited. So it'll be cool. What should one do if capital is hard to come by? Capital really isn't hard to come by. You can find it. It can be DSCR. It can be private money. The only issue is that private money, you can always get money. There's always money to be had. The only question is how expensive is it? Yeah. Hayner, it's kind of a mindset. Yep. There's more capital out there that needs return than there are deals. That's true. That's exactly right. Chris Ramsey, big time. Flavio, you're welcome. Yes. Hi, Nair. Yep. Grumpy Old Contractor. Good to see you guys. Guys, have a fantastic rest of your week, Charles. Guys, thanks for all day. Thanks. Welcome. Heiner, thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you all the new folks that came and joined. Charles, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Sarah Vanen, thank you. It was a great session. Thanks, Matt. Good night. Yeah, you guys have a great rest of your night. It was awesome hanging out and spending time with you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. There's a lot doing over the next week or two. Check out the jail video. I'm sorry. I had to yell at my 4-year-old. She just was not listening. And it's a construction site. I didn't want her to get hurt. So I apologize in advance for how much I had to yell at her. But she wasn't listening. And I wanted to keep on streaming for you guys. So check out the jail video. Check out the house flip video. House flip video. I think the final numbers are in on the house video. And we made about made a little over $5,000 an hour. Yeah. Yep. I mean, Dion can only make $37.50 an hour. Yeah, I made a little over five. I made almost $6,000 an hour. That's right, $6,000 an hour. It's because I know how to do these things. I'm elite. I want to help you become elite. Check out the syllabus. Please watch the syllabus. I think we have 2 boot camp seats left. Is it? So watch the syllabus. If you want to be in the boot camp, you have to take the course in order to get into the boot camp. But the boot camp will start in the next few weeks. You'll hear announcements on that over the next week or two. But yeah, I want to hear about the revenge property. Oh, Baron. Oh, crap. I told you guys I was going to do that. I'm sorry. I will do the revenge property. I will do a special event. We just closed today. So yeah, it's exciting. But guys, check out the syllabus. Want to be part of your journey. That's why I keep it low price like I do. I get that it's a lot of money, but it's a lot less money than a lot of stuff out there that's not going to help you. Look forward to it. Guys, have an awesome rest of your week. Thank you for all my OGs and all the all the NGs. Steven, Matt's course will pay you back 10x. I agree with that. I think, yeah. I mean, Farinelli's trying to get to $1 million in savings. I know we're at a few 100,000, but it's going to be a little bit more of a journey. Charles McHugh, thanks for the effort, Matt. Yeah, you guys are welcome. It's been a really long day. I was up since like 4:30 this morning. I had a big day, a big week. Yeah, just love winning, and I want you guys to win. So I appreciate being a part of your journey. Thank you for spending the time with me tonight that you did, guys. It's not lost on me. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll get you guys some updates, but have a great Labor Day weekend. Please remember what Labor Day weekend is about. Let's do that, okay? Appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your week and a great holiday weekend. See you guys in the next one.